Hi guys, it's 2015 and I just wanted to show you how I write web applications typically. Because it's probably a bit old-fashioned way of doing it, but I like it because it's simpler in my mind and it's more minimalistic and less lines of code. So let me just walk through you an example. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen here. I have this sort of structure where I store invoices for my customers, and in there is some details about the invoice, something like that. And I need to write out a piece of JSON when I want to mark that invoice as paid. So first and foremost, I always do this. I write a shell script to do what I want to do. And this shell script, all it does is take in a few arguments. The first one being when the invoice was paid. What was the second one do? No, the first one is the ID of the invoice. Second is the date, and third is the amount, and fourth is some notes. So yeah, I can mark this as paid, and it would be, and I would run it like mark as paid, something like that. What was the next one? Oh yeah, the date. So that it was paid. Let's just say it was paid sometime in the future. Doesn't really matter. The amount, say it was 400, and foo bar is the notes. So as you can see, I've written out this piece of JSON. Okay, so I established the sort of what I want through the shell script. The next bit is that I write a piece of HTML. And the piece of HTML, let's see here, kind of would look like something like this. So it's exactly the same. It's basically an interface to that shell script. So you have the ID, you have the date, the amount, and some notes. And that gets fed to paid.php, which just feeds that to the shell script that I earlier wrote, and executes it in those arguments. So if I could demonstrate this to you, it would be something. This would be my interface to when I want to mark an invoice as paid. I have a date I can choose. I use it. The cool thing about using a web form is that you can use the date picker. I can choose some date in the date picker. I'm using the number input type. Let's just toggle it down. Foo blah 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 blah. Obviously, if I was writing English, I'd get a spell checker as a +1 for the web form, and then I would submit, and I got a permission denied. Okay, I can easily fix that. Chmod. Okay, now it's been paid. As you can see there. So yeah, that is the way I write PHP. That's the way I write web applications, and it does seem a bit old-fashioned nowadays. So what I write out my HTML by hand. This is 23 lines of code. The sort of script to basically exec the shell script is 12 lines of code, and of course the shell script in itself is is something else. Here we go. Marks paid. It's 15 lines of code. So yeah, all in all, a certain functionality to mark invoices as paid. 50 lines of code or so. It's easy for me to manage it. Easy for me to test it. I use the shell scripts if I want to. I use the web interface to make it maybe a little bit quicker. If there's a better way of doing it, please let me know. I do feel a little bit like an old curmudgeon or something, but that's the way I do it, and it works for me for the most part. And I would like to hear what you think.